Good morning. It's Sunday, May 23rd, 2021. Welcome to episode 30 of Dinner from the Dining Car. Today we're going to be making the Pennsylvania Railroad tuna salad fritter. This is, if you've ever had a Monte Cristo sandwich, think of a Monte Cristo sandwich with, instead of using ham and cheese, you're using a tuna salad. You could also think of this as a French toast with stuffed with tuna. Made it before. It's actually quite yummy for dinner. We're going to be serving it with some potato chips and some fresh berry medley. Here's what you're going to need for the sandwich. You're going to need 6 to 8 slices of a really good bread. Now this is a bread, it's called Village bread. It's a bread I get at a local store called Super King, and it's a denser bread, and it's a white bread. It's a denser bread, but it's really good grilled or toasted or on sandwiches. You're going to need 6 to 8 slices of this. If you're making 4 sandwiches, 8 slices, 3 sandwiches, 6. And you're going to cut the crusts off of this bread, which we'll do before we get cooking. You're also going to need, 4 eggs, because you're going to make an egg and milk wash, and you'll need milk, 1 cup to 2 cups, because we're going to make an egg wash that the sandwich gets dipped in and then put on a griddle or a flat top to cook. For the tuna salad, you're going to need tuna. Now, I'm a little snobbish on my tuna. I don't like buying a name brand tuna that's more water than it is tuna. I like chunks of tuna. When I open a can of tuna, darn it, I want to see huge chunks of tuna. This is why I buy basically one of the 2 following brands. And you're going to need 10 to 12 ounces of tuna. And I buy strictly albacore. So it's a little more money, but it's really good tuna. Anyway, the 2 brands I prefer to buy. Polar. This is a really good, huge chunk of tuna in very little water. Just enough water to say that there's water there. Another brand I buy, and I may use this one tonight, is a brand called Wild Planet. This is also all albacore and very little water, more tuna. These are 5-ounce jars. This one's a 12-ounce can, 5-ounce can. 2 5-ounce cans would be plenty for this recipe. And this one, the Wild Planet, also, if you happen to be Jewish or subscribe to kosher food eating, these are parve. They're kosher. The Polar, not so much. But those are the 2 brands I buy. I've tried your major brands like Starkist and Chicken of the Sea and even Bumblebee, and the quality on those are really, in my personal opinion, garbage. But so I stick with Polar or Wild Planet. Now, neither of these companies have paid me for this little plug for them, so this is just my personal preference. You can do whatever you want. You're making the sandwich. Eat it how you want it. You're also going to need mayonnaise. Here we have light mayo, because we want to cut the fat down a little bit. And you're going to need a couple of stalks of celery. You're going to chop these up really fine. I mean really fine. So if you have a chopping machine or food processor that'll chop it up really fine, use that machine. Anyway, that's all there is for this recipe. A little bit later, when we come back ready to make food, we'll show you how all this goes together. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a bit. Okay, here we are. We're getting ready to start our sandwiches. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that, folks. I had to start the griddle and get it greased up. Okay, here's what you'd want to do first. We have the bread that I mentioned earlier, 4 slices of it, and you need to trim off the crusts. Try to keep as close. Oh, this is the wrong knife. That's not the right knife. Sorry about that, wrong knife. We're going to use the actual bread knife. Try to keep as much of the actual meat of the bread as you possibly can, just getting rid of the crust. You end up with still pretty good slices. Now, the bread I'm using, again, is what they call a village bread. It's a bigger bread to begin with. Your standard, grocery store, Wonder Bread kind of slice just isn't going to be big enough for these sandwiches. So you may want to actually, go for a more gourmet style bread. And yes, I washed my hands before I started doing this. I suggest you do the same. Okay, that we put aside. Now, the tuna. Now, I've opened up the cans of tuna, and this is why I recommend the brands of tuna I recommended. This is the Wild Planet tuna, and you notice there's very little water in there, and the tuna is huge chunks. So you're going to put that in a bowl. That's the 2 5-ounce cans, and you're going to kind of chunk it up, chop it up into little tiny pieces of tuna. Everybody say hello to Judy. You want a little piece of tuna?
No, leave it for your sandwich.
Okay, in here, you're going to pop in, once you crush the tuna a little bit, and now it's crushed to more tuna salad proportions. If you'll take a look in there, you'll see that it's kind of crunched up. You're going to add a 1/2 cup of your extremely well diced celery. Now I diced up a little more just in case you like it a little more celery. Then you're going to add 1 rather heaping tablespoon of mayonnaise. Now the thing about adding mayonnaise to tuna salad, you want to start out with a little, because To quote my wonderful wife, you can always add more, you can't take it out. So you just want to stir all this up. And this is looking a little dry. Of course, I don't know, now that I'm tossing.
Well, you gotta keep stirring it.
Yeah. By the way, Judy's here observing. She is the master of tuna salad. You will never eat a tuna salad any better than hers. We should make a video on her making her tuna salad or her egg salad. She makes the world's best tuna salad and egg salad. I'm just going with what's in the recipe. Actually, 1 heaping tablespoon of mayonnaise looks like it's going to be plenty now that it's all stirred up. You don't want too much in there. You don't want too little. Now is the time, if you want to, pepper. You can add a little bit of fresh cracked pepper and the salt. And stir that up.
Here you go, here's the salt.
And just a little bit of fresh cracked salt. This will just add a little bit of seasoning to your tuna. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's, again, all up to you. Okay. And then you just set your tuna aside for a little bit. Now you need to make your egg wash because you're going to make these sandwiches. You're going to dip them in egg wash, submerge them completely. Just make sure they're good and egg dipped, and then we'll take them over to the griddle and cook them. So you need, excuse me a minute, how much milk? I'm not going to go with 2 cups of milk. That's for 8 sandwiches. So I'm going to go with a cup of milk. And 4 eggs. Don't you dare. I'm not having a good time with these eggs. There we go, that's better. Got a little bit of eggshell in there. Want to make sure you keep the eggshells out of this. Alright, then you want to whisk this up. Because this is your egg wash that these sandwiches are going to be dipped in. I could use a couple of paper towels too. So make sure this egg and this milk is thoroughly mixed together. Okay, that's thoroughly mixed together. As you can see here, that's thoroughly mixed together. I'm going to set this over here on the oven.
You don't need these empty tuna cans.
No, I don't need the empty tuna cans. What's the point? Back to the sandwiches. Now, this is another part where it kind of is up to you how much tuna you're going to put in these sandwiches. It's a matter of preference, but the recipe does say to make sure you have your tuna spread all over your bread. So you want it, oh, I would guess about 1/4 of an inch thick on your bread. Let me move that so you can see this. Let me just take it over there and show the camera. You want it spread about that thick. That's about 1/4 of an inch. And then you're going to close it up. And you're going to make the other bread. Oh, the tuna's good. Again, always try to use good quality tuna. You will never regret spending a little extra money on good quality tuna. That's just like, you know, it's kind of like buying an off-brand of tuna is like getting 70-30 beef. It's just crap. Okay, that ought to do us. Now see, this will make enough tuna for 3 or 4 sandwiches. We're only making 2 right now, so that will take care of that. Let me move the camera. Move it down. So y'all can see it. Then you bring your sandwiches to your egg mix. You plop that sucker in there and you push it down a little bit because you want this thing to soak up the egg mixture. Set the other one in there while it's soaking up before I flip it over. Get out the spatula. Now these should cook just about 3 or 4 minutes aside. Make sure you have your griddle greased up really nice. Flip this one. Oh yes, oh my goodness. Oh yeah. This can get a little tricky because you have to flip these sandwiches without spilling the tuna out of the center. And again, you kind of push it down and make sure it soaks up a lot of the egg and the milk. And the rest of this is easy peasy. You just take your sandwich over to your griddle and plop it down. Again, for some strange reason, they call these fritters. I don't know why. They're a sandwich. But, oh, they smell really good already, and it's starting to get really smoky in here from the griddle. I love using my griddle, but in this kitchen, the problem is it smokes the place up. And we have windows open. And the fan running.
Honey, do you want me to look at us and a couple of again?
Not right away. And you just let these sit. Now, if you'll let me have the camera for a second. If you look at these things, see how the egg is starting to fry here on the sides? That's what you want to see. You want to see this egg frying on the sides of the sandwich. That'll be a really good indicator that you're doing the job correctly. The leftover egg wash, if you're eating the tuna, oh my goodness, she's eating the tuna. The rest of the egg wash, if you really want to get something interesting here, when your sandwiches are done, you can always pour the egg wash onto the griddle and have a little bit of scrambled eggs with your sandwich, which is probably something I'm going to do. Oh, beautiful. Oh, that that looks like French toast. That's exactly what it should look like. Let me bring the camera over and you can see it again. See how nice and crispy browned that is? These don't take very long to cook. Just a minute or two per side. And they're going to be really lovely sandwiches. So, anyway, folks, that's pretty much it for these sandwiches. It's a very simple recipe to put together, and it's going to be yummy, I can tell you right now. So, that's it for this video. If you make this, you'll enjoy it. It smells really good in here, those sandwiches cooking up. Oh gosh, I love those. Oh, those are really starting to cook up nice. Okay, if you'll do me a favor, smash that like button. And please, 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 if you like this video a lot, subscribe for me. That'd be fantastic. Thanks for coming along. If you have any questions, comments, want a copy of this recipe, just email me at dinnerfromthediningcar@yahoo.com, and I'll get a copy of the recipe out to you. In the meantime, enjoy your night, enjoy your food, and thanks for coming along. We'll be back at you with the next video. Thanks a lot.